Okay, so I have this here if you guys are interested in playing around. What this will do is it will open up a Kami document for you, and it's just a really silly Halloween this or that. Do you like painting pumpkins or carving pumpkins? But really what I want you guys to do is just have some play document where it doesn't matter what you do if you mess it up. It's not real. So I'm pretty much going to run my session live, so to speak, and then I'll just use the slides to make sure I'm hitting everything that I had intended on hitting. So if you have the slides, you can click this picture, just in case someone doesn't have the slides up. You can hit this link here in chat, or if you're in our Google Classroom, it is this one right here, Kami Warmup Practice Document. I did this partially so you can see what it looks like if you're assigning things to students on Classroom, how they could access it. So you can try here, or you can try from the slides or the link in chat, whatever you prefer. But when you click, it should take you to a document that looks sort of like this. And you'll notice mine's already a hot mess. I was playing with it yesterday. And I've added some questions, just kind of playing around, looking at what options we have now that everything got a refresh over summer break. So really, I just want you to take a second and click around, highlight, draw, circle, add shapes, just kind of play with it and see how it works, what you think, what you can do, what you can't do. So just take a minute or so, click around, play. Okay, my watch shows it's been about a minute. So I was just clicking around, and I don't know if you saw, but I accidentally clicked on here, and then I told it to fill, and then I realized oh, you can't actually read that anymore. Never mind, let's go back. So just something to be aware of if you're highlighting and you want it to fill. It doesn't always look beautiful like this kind of highlighter. And then notice you can also move that highlighting around. One other really cool thing while I'm here, let's say you decide, oh, this box is the perfect size. I'm just going to reuse this box for everything. I love it. You can click on the select tool right here and click on select annotations. And if you select this box, you can copy and then you can paste and you can move it around. And once I've copied it, I just hit paste and paste and paste. And then if I'm like, oh, dang, it doesn't fit the whole thing, I come back to select, and now I can stretch that one out. So if you found the perfect whatever, you don't want to have to redraw it or mess with it, it's the same text box over and over and over, you can go select annotations, and then really you could select a whole bunch of them, copy it, paste it, and now you have all of those repeated. So I discovered that last year sometime, and was like, oh my gosh, that's so helpful. And then if you're like, yeah, no, never mind, that was way too much, you can also select and you can delete all of those annotations as well. Okay, so we've played, we've clicked around. I will be a happy, happy lady if by the end of the session you guys are able to access Kami and resources. You've got in, you've clicked around. I hope you get a chance to explore Kami tools. And then really, I just want you to see and learn a little bit how to edit a PDF in Kami. Okay, so why? It's beautiful. It lets you interact with PDFs, pictures, all kinds of things. You can upload from Google Drive, documents, whatever. It works beautifully with Classroom if you're a Classroom teacher, or if you have a Classroom for staff members. I like that you don't have to be in with your kids, right? Some days the stuff works pretty well. And then collaboration, there is a lot of built-in interactivity. We won't hit on these three as much today because the session is not geared for teachers. It's geared kind of for everybody. But there is a lot of options if you are in the classroom. All right, so how to get to Kami. If you have never been to Kami and you just click on that link to get there, there's a few ways you can go. So you can go kamiapp.com, and then you can hit login. And this will take you kind of to your Kami homepage. If you are using Chrome, which my home computer does not have, you'll see this little K icon up here on the top right corner. So it looks like this. It'll be in your extensions. And it's this. This is the new updated one. You can pin that to your toolbar, and then that will stay up here always. You can just hit the K and it'll take you straight there. But again, that's only if you're in Chrome. And then if you are in Chrome and you're in a Google Doc, you'll see this option right here. So it says Kami with a little Share button. You can hit this and it will open that document in Kami as well. So because I'm not in Chrome right now, I will just go to kamiapp.com, log in, and it takes me here. once you're here, I just want to walk you through all the things. So it's just going to be a little bit of here's what they do and click and click and click and click, and then I'll show you some kind of cool highlights towards the end. So once I'm logged in, I'm just going to create a new blank page. Perfect. We don't need anything fancy for this part. So select, we already kind of talked about a little bit. Dictionary we'll get to later, but Kami has this built-in feature where if you click on a word, it'll tell you what it means. Same thing with read aloud. I'll show you guys that in a little bit. I already have a sample document in mind. Markup is probably what you're used to seeing and what you would have seen on that last one. You can draw kind of freehand. You can box highlight, so if you wanted to do a whole sentence, or text highlight. I found it doesn't work that well for me. I'm not a huge fan. So if I go here and I do markup text highlighter, if I double click, yes, it highlights, but I'm picky and I don't like that it cuts off the O. So I don't use that one super often. And this would only work if Kami recognizes the letters on the page as letters. A lot of times when you bring a document into Kami, it sees it as just a snapshot, as a picture. So there's this special tool called OCR that you can do, and it will actually like turn it to where Kami sees the individual characters, not just like a snapshot of the whole page. So again, we'll get there in a little bit. That's a tool I'm going to highlight. But for text highlighter, I'm not a huge fan. And then you can change colors. You have a bunch of colors here. You can pick a specific color if you want it to match. Comment tools, that's how I left these instructions. So I can leave a text comment, which is what this is. I can leave a voice comment. So I'm going to see down here, it says click or select text anywhere on the page to make an audio comment. I'm going to click right here. This is an audio comment. My favorite treat is anything with peanut butter. Okay, and then if I hit play, it should read my comment back to me. Oh no, it's not reading it back to me. Okay, maybe it's still thinking. This is generating captions. But normally, if you were not hooked up to the camera and all the things that I have going on, it would read it right back to you. So now the kids can come in and they can listen to your instructions. If you wanted to leave a video comment, it would pop up and it would have a video of you explaining or commenting, doing whatever. So now here's my little video, me commenting, explaining, doing whatever. Again, still kind of thinking, not working too quick right now. And then if I wanted to do a screen capture, this one is really cool. This one will do a screencast of my Kami screen and put it into a little video. So this is how I've done subplans in the past. So I'll go here and I'll say, okay, buy this or that. Okay, so I want it to do this window. Sure. All right, so in this activity today, what I want you to do is go through this Halloween list, and I want you to go to markup, and I want you to pick your highlighter, and I want you to choose, would you rather do this or do this for Halloween? Do this or do this for Halloween? Happy Halloweening, keep going, please. And now what I've got is I've got audio instructions for my students. I've got a visual, hey, here's what I want you to do, and they're already in here so they can just keep going. So they can open it, they can watch my instructions, and then they can continue on. It is quick and easy. It's not like the prettiest ever, but it works. Like there's no editing involved. It's one shot, record it, it is what it is, but it worked really well to get my students kind of the information they needed without having to go a bunch of different places. So comments, text is just that. Voice is just voice. Video is just a video of myself. And then screen capture is the screen, plus whatever I'm saying. When we get to text box, that's if I wanted to add writing. So this is the text box. If I could spell, that would look better, but just kind of basic to add writing. Now, once you have a text box, you should notice this pops up at the top, this whole editing toolbar. What font, what size, what's the spacing, do I want it bold, italic, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This one right here, this little fill, is a beautiful thing if you wanted to edit instructions. So I might say, okay, let's make this like really nice and big, and let's center this, ta-da. It's not perfect because it cuts off the moon, but now I have edited instructions, and my kids really shouldn't ever know that there were other instructions there because they can't see it. It's not like it's clear and I covered up writing. So I like this if I'm trying to edit a document, which I actually did today for my students in chemistry. I added my own special instructions instead of what was already on the document, and I did it in Kami last night. So really like easy way if you wanted to adjust a PDF. Equations, honestly, I haven't used that much. That's not my world very often, but if you have questions about the equation specifically, I'd be happy to look around and play with it. Drawing, very similar to this kind of freehand highlighter. It lets you just kind of draw exactly what it says. There are a few things if you wanted to have a ruler involved, protractors, you're trying to draw specific angles, or a compass if you wanted to draw a perfect circle. You have that option as well. Shapes are going to be a little more specific, I guess. So you can draw whatever shape you want. And then if, it's getting a little busy, I'm going to come back over here. If you are interested in drawing a perfect whatever, you can hold shift and it will draw you a perfect square, a perfect circle, a right triangle. I don't know what this one does. Oh, 108 degrees. Okay. And then lines, they'll lock onto kind of regular degrees, so to speak. So you don't have to have kind of, oh, I don't know where I am exactly. It'll lock specifically. And then if you don't want perfect of whatever, you can do ovals, you can do rectangles, etc. You can adjust if these are filled or not. If you click here, fill only, outline only, and then you can adjust colors as well while you're here. So you do have a few editing options once that is drawn in, but that's shapes. Eraser, if I wanted to erase drawings and shapes, So I'm just kind of rolling over it. Let's say I have a text box and I'm on my eraser that says drawings and shapes. Notice how nothing is erasing right here? What I can do is I can click all annotations, and now that's gone. Question, you'll see that is how I did the questions on this page. Where did my questions go? So Kami has a new AI feature where it will take whatever's on your document and it will generate questions for you. Now, I gave it kind of a tough document to ask questions about because these are all opinion, would you rather, but it tried. And I mean, it got the right wording, the right kinds of questions, kind of same idea, but because it's a would you rather, this would not be great for a quiz, but it has this option. And then what's really nice too, is if you're like, you know what, that's great, but I don't like that answer option, you can always edit the question yourself. So yes, it is AI generated, but you can edit as well. So if you wanted your kids to have a little practice or a quick assessment, you could come over here to question, and then you could generate, and we'll do that in a moment. Adding media, so if you wanted to add camera, something from your computer, drive, image search, etc., they have a lot of options in here. So if you wanted to just add kind of stuff onto your work, and then signature, that's what probably a lot of us have used it for. You know, every time I do a travel request or a conference form, I go in and I just add this signature. Like, yep, let's just make that bigger. Cool, there's my signature. That's kind of what it looks like in real life. Done, electronically signed a document. But let's say you're in media. You're like, man, I don't see the sticker I wanted. I want to make my own fancy whatever. You can go into signature and you can upload an image. So that's how I got my snailed it. I took a picture. I wonder if it's in here. Screenshots. I think maybe I did this on a different computer. Oh no, there it is. Snailed it. Open, upload, and now I have like a custom sticker that I can put anywhere I want on my document. So it's not perfect, but if I've created my own sticker and I want to do my own thing, I can do that in a signature. Okay, so that was the toolbar on the left. There's a ton of options. If you're feeling overwhelmed, please don't even worry about it. Latch onto one or two that you're like, oh, yep, that's what I'm going to do, and then call that good enough. If we're going across the top, hey, how can I help?
Can you show how to do the snippet tool, like a copy and paste? Because whenever I copy and paste, it pastes really small. I was just wondering, what am I doing wrong?
Do you mean like if I have this and I want to paste it somewhere else in my document, how would I do that?
Like if I were to take, like you mentioned the conference. So if I take the flyer and I just snip it and take copy and paste it, and then I put it onto the Kami form.
You mean like this? Like if I take a picture of something and then I paste it in right here?
Oops. Yes. Why is it? And then it doesn't always give me the, where were you were in text, or what were you in?
No, this one I just went over and I took a screenshot. So I'm on this computer, it's Windows Shift S, turns on the screenshot. And then I went back into my Kami thing. I just clicked, so I'm on select. I just clicked on the document and then I do Control V to paste.
And then it allows you to open. Okay, all right.
And then I can make it bigger and stuff.
All right, perfect. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Like that one. Okay, so that was pretty much everything over here. Again, if you're like, yeah, Jesse, that was way too much, no worries. Across the top, what you'll see is where does this thing live? What's it called? And then kind of the saved progress, if it's been saved or not saved. You have undo, redo. You have some file information if you wanted to open something else, create an assignment in Google Classroom from here, kind of look at options. You can preview. So if you wanted to kind of project this to somebody, that was view presentation mode. If you're like, no, I really need that, turn the other way, that's not right, you can rotate pages. Super, super, super easy. And then I think if I add another one, what I can do is I can turn this. They both move. Dang. I was hoping only one would go. Okay, so we'll go this way. If I want to see 2 pages at a time, so if it's book layout, right? The download arrow, how do I want to use this? So am I going to print an original, print with all the things I added to it, quick download or export somewhere specific? These are 2 of my favorite tools. We'll get there in a little bit. Search, so if I want to search something on my document, and then share. There's information about this later in the slides, but this is how I got you guys your copy of the Halloween one. So I said anyone with the link, and then create an individual copy. That way when you got it, it wasn't like my annotations didn't mess up you or your annotations didn't mess up me. So this is how I did it. Anyone with the link can make an individual copy. And then you do have some other Google Drive options there if you don't see what you're looking for here. And then your initials are just kind of your personal settings. So if you wanted to have dark theme, look at your settings, etc. The only other thing I think that's on here, there's 2 that we didn't touch. This is your annotation bank. So if you are using this for student feedback and you're writing the same comments to kids over and over and over and over, you can actually just bring this out. Comment. You should be able to bring this out. I'll have to play with that a little bit more. And then that way you don't have to retype all the time. That one has changed since I used it last. I'll take a look at that one. And then the other thing we have is down here. This is your kind of zoom, your view options. So if you wanted to zoom out, zoom in, what page are you on, so you don't get lost in your document. And then I'm going to head back over here for a moment and make sure we got all of the toolbar stuff. So it talks about comments. Oh, I did not do that part. Okay, so if we're going over here and you see that I have kind of a handwritten signature, you're like, yeah, I can't do that with the mouse. What you can do is you can draw signature on phone. And when you do this, it will go and it'll give you either the option to copy the QR code, email the link, or you can just take your phone right now and you can open up your camera and you can scan this. And then what it will do is it will give you an option to, in live time, I think maybe you can see this, okay? In live time, it will tell me you can draw your signature. So if I draw a big old smiley face and say save, now my big old smiley face is able to be put in as a signature. So that was in real time. You can do it on your phone. That way you can use your finger and have it be a little more realistic. What else? Okay, no, talked about that. Menu bar, we got that stuff. Sharing options, we talked about that. All right, I'm gonna give you guys, it says 8 minutes. How are we doing? Oh yeah, we're doing pretty good. Okay, we'll take about 8-ish minutes. I'm just gonna run a timer on my phone. If you guys have any questions, like please unmute, pop them into chat, whatever you need. And this is just your time to kind of explore. And just so you're aware, we have until 5 o'clock. I don't think it will take us all the way till 5, but I'll be here till 5 if you guys have questions. So about 8 minutes or so, let me know what questions you have, play, click, check it out. While you guys are working, if you're interested, I wanted to really quick see what I was doing wrong with the comments. I don't think I was doing anything wrong. I just wasn't clicking quite in the right spot. So if I wanted to give my students this comment, I just drop it right here and then it populates the comment. So my apologies that I couldn't get that to work the first time. Sure. So can you walk me through how to send a Kami document to others for a signature? Okay. Let's say I want don't need pink anymore. All right, I want this document to go to you. Trino, can you pop your email into chat and I'll send it to you and we'll see what it looks like on your end too? Because normally I've started my own and I've signed my own, but let's say we want it to be like signed here. Okay, so this is my document, whatever it is that I'm supposed to be signing. What I would do is I would go share, and then anyone with a link is an editor. And then if you don't trust your people, what you can do is you can turn everything off except for the signature tool. So if you want, you can take a look and you'll see what it looks like. But I can say, okay. And now if I copy this, let me just test, and I usually do this for everything. Sure, Sheila. So I test my own just to see, okay, what does it look like? Oh, but I'm in my own account, and so it knows I own this. Okay, yeah, that won't work. Oh, maybe I can cheat and I can open my personal Jessie self. Authorize. Okay. Okay, so if you guys notice, see how the only option I have is signature? I love this. If you know your students will get overwhelmed or your staff will keep they'll mess with highlighting and they'll do buttons, you can limit what they have access to. So if I do signature, I find mine and then I click. Oh, that won't be super beautiful because it's the text box in the way, but you get the idea. Okay. So sign here, there's my signature. I wonder how we could get that text box to be clear. Anyways, that can be a future endeavor, but that's what I would do if I were you guys. So I would go get your document ready. Oh, and there's my signature. Oh, and the really beautiful thing, you guys, notice, because this wasn't made by this account, I can't edit this. I can't edit this annotation. I can edit my own thing. I can move it around, but I cannot erase theirs, which is very, very cool. So if you are a teacher and you're having students collaborate, they can't go in and erase other people's work. And then up here, it tells me these are the other people that have been on the document. So if you want to see who's kind of looked at it, who's clicked in. But how could we get that? Maybe that's the way to do it. So where was I? I was here. And then I went this way. Then, yeah, there we go. Okay, so all I did, let's see. Okay, so you have a new page, you're setting up your form, whatever. You're importing your conference request. You get it, and it's this beautiful blank document. You're like, okay, I need you to please sign here. And then the reason that I couldn't get my signature on top of the box is because when I went in and I looked at it, it was, oh, no. Undo that, please. Undo, please. When it's up here in a text box, the fill option is up here at the top. I had it filled white on accident. So this time I'm going to do clear. Okay, I'm going to see if I can delete that one. That one I can't mess with because it wasn't this account. And then, so my document's all ready. It's beautiful. It's perfect. I'm going to hit share. And then I'm going to say anybody with the link can edit. But then feature control, if you're interested, turn off everything except signature. And then because I see 2 of you need this document, I might say, Trina or Sheila, if you guys want to unmute and let me know your specific case, is it more than one person signing the same paper, or is it the same paper, you just need a copy to go out to more than one person, or is it only going to one person and so it wouldn't really matter?
So
Go ahead, Sheila.
Trina, do you want to answer or do you want me to?
Go ahead, Sheila.
We work together.
Oh, okay.
We're both 504 coordinators at the same site. So sometimes we have documents, 504s or SSTs, where teachers have to sign. So that's what we're doing.
So you would want one document
Correct.
that more than one person would sign?
Correct.
Okay, then I would do it this way.
Is that what you're saying as well?
Yeah. So I would do, anyone with the link can edit, and then I would copy this link, and then I would, since you guys are here, I'll do it this way. What I might do though, if I were, let's say I was in that 504 and I wanted people to do this, what I could do is I could probably go in like this, and I could say TORS, and I could say this, send, and then this would also send you guys an email. Hey, Jesse's invited you to edit this document, and it should work either way. So if you wanted to just copy and send the link, if you guys are doing it virtual or whatever, pop the link into chat, or you can open the Google Drive and you can kind of send it to other people. Can I clarify anything, or does that answer your question?
That answers our question. I like the feature where you can turn everything off but the signature piece. Because
Yeah, that comes in pretty handy.
with multiple fingers on the document, things can get a little wacky.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Okay, perfect. Sheila, Trina, anything you guys need, reach out. If you're like, oh my gosh, I know you said click here, but I don't remember what it was, please let me know. I'm happy to help. All right, so that was kind of explore, look at the tools, how would it work. This is my favorite part of Kami. And I have to admit, I don't use Kami that often with my students. I use it more for myself on the back end to either edit documents or to like piece together. I want this page from this resource and this page from this resource. Let me make it into one thing. Now I'll give that to kids or I'll print it out. So this is how I use Kami most of the time. So if I go back, one thing I realized I didn't walk you guys through was kind of what's on this homepage. So assignments, you can see, these are things I assigned last year to my students in bio. And then this one I just assigned yesterday as a practice in case you guys wanted to see what it looks like as a student. But it'll kind of give you your recent assignments. If you wanted to open a specific file, you can choose from one of these or make a new one. This is how I was making them, just new blank page real quick. The questions, this is how I was doing it. So that's something, if we have time, we can look at questions. You can also do this from directly inside of a document if you already have one pulled up. And I'll see if I can do one a bit later. I think I found a document that will work pretty well as a tester. You see recent files, what you've opened recently in Drive, and then some templates that Kami has for you. And then down here at the bottom, there's help. So if you're ever like, oh, dang, how would you do that thing? Come down here. There's a lot of options as well. All right. These are my two favorite pieces. Edit file. So we're going to start with split and merge. This is probably how I use Kami 90% of the time. So I'm going to pull a document from my computer, and I pulled one here. And then let's pretend I also want to pull this one, types of energy notes. Okay, so then these are all the things I want to combine, smush, reorganize. So I'm going to click next. And you'll notice what it does is it opens the entirety of each document. That first page, it just showed me kind of the first page. Like, look at this beast. This is a huge document. I don't even know how many pages this is. 631. So let's say this is my textbook. And I'm like, yeah, I really don't want to give my students a whole textbook and say, please go to page 579. Because of all the scrolling, all the wasted time. I'm like, nah, forget that. I'm going to pull this one, and I'm going to add this as my first page of my new document. And then I got my 2 note sheets. And if you're like, Jesse, I can't read what that says. I don't know what's on page 578. These 2 little arrows that go diagonal, it enlarges and lets you preview what's on the page. So if you're like, oh yeah, that's the one I wanted, hit escape, and then you can bring that down as well. And that'll be the same for all of them. So anything you're like, oh, I don't remember. Let me see. What is this one? Oh yeah, okay, perfect. I wanted that one as well. Right, so you can choose whatever. Then you're like, wait, never mind. I want their notes paper to be in the middle. And then rename it so you remember what the heck this is. So this is my test for today. And then what I can do is I can say export. I'm going to open it straight into Kami because I probably need to make some changes. And this is exactly how I did it last night, editing pages for the sub for today. So what it does, it's thinking, okay, all done. Open in Kami. And now you have just those specific textbook pages with notes thrown in between, textbook pages, and notes. And now if I'm like, oh, you know what? I really don't like this part. Okay, let me go adjust. Let me do a shape. Let's make it a white shape. We don't need any of that. That's too much for my students. Go back over here. Hello? And I'm going to fill. Okay, don't need that anymore. Let's go back. We're going to edit, read, and blah, 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 blah. Okay, here's my new directions. Okay, so you're going to take notes, you're going to read, you're going to whatever. Great. Now I've got 3 textbook pages, 2 note pages, all in the right order that I want. I didn't have to worry about, please go to page 500, whatever. So this is my favorite, all capital, bold, underlined, italicized, favorite Kami tool. If you'll notice, there is one called Merge Mode. I think Merge Mode is kind of bleh in comparison to Split. Merge Mode takes the full PDF, 631 pages, and then smushes the chem types of energy notes right behind it, and it just makes it into one file. I don't think I've ever used Merge Mode because in Split Mode, I can do exactly the same thing, but I can also make adjustments if I need to. Like really, I probably wouldn't need to put that in for my students. So I don't like Merge just because all it does is it takes the first file and the second file and smushes them together. Split Mode, you can kind of combine, adjust, reorder to your heart's content. I think that's it for Split and Merge. Can I pause and answer any questions? How'd you do that? Wait, how'd you get there? Anything I can help with right now for Split and Merge? Maybe I should mention, because I haven't yet, what I would do with it at this point. So let's say these were my subplans. I would export, and then I can choose where do I want it to go. Do I want it to be a file on my computer, go straight to Google Drive? OneDrive we don't use, but you could have it get sent there as well. And then do I want the original, which no thank you. I put my edits on there for a reason. So I'm going to do with all annotations. And then if you want everything to act as if it were one kind of layer, the way I think about editing a PDF is you have your, you guys, yeah, you can see that. You have your document. Anytime you put an annotation, it acts like another layer on top of your document. If you say flatten, it kind of smushes it all together. And that makes it where you can't really click and move around things. It kind of acts like it's one original document or like it's been laminated, right? If you glue a piece of paper on top of it and run it through a laminator, now you can't take off that paper anymore. And then I usually take off Kami export because it doesn't really matter. And then I say begin. And now once it's in Drive, now I can go out and I can share it, print it, assign it, you know, all the normal things. So it says it's right here. It even highlights it for me in my Drive so I can see it. And now I have this, well, it's a funky example, beautiful textbook page with no pages in between. Let's look, let's see, Split and Merge, my favorite. That tool is priceless, text recognition. We did that. Okay, we are done. We have about 15 minutes left. I think what I'm going to do, instead of 5 minutes now, I'll get you guys the wrap-up information, and then I'll hang out until 5 o'clock if you guys wanted to click and play and test and ask questions. I think I'll do it then. So I will be a happy lady if you figured out how to access Kami. You got to explore tools, and hopefully you learned how to edit a PDF. Feel like, I know some people got a question answered. Hopefully you guys were able to pull something from today. And I just want to say thank you. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out. This is my email. Please ask questions. Ask.